Whoa! Hey, just dropped in to hang out with all you guys and gals, whoever's here. Hello. Thank you for coming by once again. This is not financial advice. Friendly disclaimer. How does Ian say it? In terms of a friendly disclaimer, we're all tongue-tied. In terms of a friendly disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is just for fun and entertainment purposes only. What's up? We've got a lot to get to, I guess. We still got wars going on. Who's invested in BDCs? I am. And I'm invested in two of what I think are the stronger ones. So with that also, Slancha, anybody who's had some St. Patrick's Day early festivities. I don't know, I'm drinking water. It's not vodka. It's water from a Guinness glass. Hopefully that is not a sacrilege, but we may or may not have a Guinness or two at the conclusion of this thrilling episode. Great to see a lot of you in here. Fast Eddie, what did you have from Portillo's? You know, my kids got on me today because I told them that we were going to Costco, and they say, "Where's that?" Apparently, you're supposed to say Costco, but they're like, "You just got an accent, Dad. You say Costco." So thank you for supporting my 200 shares of Portillo's, ticker PTLO, who does have a new CEO. Thank you, Billy Black. I don't know. Maybe you might get upset if I call you Billy. Interview with Kelly Green wrapped your head around Kimberly Clark and Ken View. They're taking over the bathroom. That's funny. I love talking to everybody, getting their perspectives. And yeah, she said they'll own the top shelf and the bottom shelf of your medicine cabinet in your bathroom. Oh, Turbo, what's up? Yeah, if you're just joining us for the first time, watching on replay, we'll do some news. I hope you're listening on 1.2 or 3x. You'll get through it even quicker. And man, will it sound really crazy when I talk like this. If you're listening on 1.2x, I'm going to sound way quicker than the Micro Machines guy. So the Turbo, you have Aries. I have Aries. I've been buying more Aries as well. Nervous to put too much more into them. BDCs fall hard when there's trouble. Yeah, I actually did a bunch of research. And I mean, here, this is the chicken scratch that I scribble. It's a whole bunch of notes on particularly BDCs, Aries and Main Street Capital, the two that I own. And right now it looks like a sector-wide repricing. Everybody's freaked out. BDCs are just getting sold off like crazy. And hey, where there's smoke, there's probably fire, right? It's all going back to the private equity. But yeah, from my notes, I mean, Main Street is the gold standard. Main Street Capital, even though they've been selling off, I know somebody on Blossom told me that they're taking opportunity to buy Main Street while it's down. But as of right now, Main Street Capital is 65% above net asset value. So you're paying a 65% premium currently, which leaves literally no margin of error. But on the other hand, Main Street Capital is internally managed. They don't have to pay any management fees that could affect their income, what could get paid out to shareholders. And they're the gold standard BDC, I think. So Main Street Capital, and they also have single digit exposure to software companies like SaaS type companies. So Main Street Capital is at 2%. The industry standard is, if I have it here, I don't have the industry standard for software coverage, but yeah, so the things you want to look at, I'm sorry, chicken scratch. I don't know if I should be bringing this up. I should save it. But in a nutshell, Main Street is the gold standard, and you can tell because there's a big premium. Aries, by the way, is trading at a 10.4% discount to NAV, to their net asset value. And that is, I think, the highest it's been in almost 5 years, which goes to show usually Aries, you're paying a premium. Their latest reported net asset value is $19.94 a share. So where it closed at $17.86, getting a 10.4% discount on Aries, locking in that, almost 11% yield, which again is like the highest it's been in almost 5 years. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if this could be over the head of a lot of people, especially if you're not BDC investors. And by the way, tell us what you are investing in. I love to hear what you guys are buying. But without, I guess, getting too far into it, is that here I was writing down what I'm looking for. So if you're invested in Aries Turbo, which you are like I am, non-accruals, looking for them to be over 3% for 2+ quarters. Non-accruals, that's just a fancy way of saying that the entities that borrowed money from you just can't pay, or they're stopped paying altogether. They're not paying their loans right now, the interest on their loans, mind you. So Aries is at 1.2%, which is pretty low. Main is at 1%. But if those are over 3% for 2+ quarters, then that is going to be an issue. And for reference, the BDC sector has a non-accrual average of 3.6%. So Aries and Main are way below that. Just a couple things to wrap this up. Ooh, we got thunder outside. Crazy weather day here in the Midwest. Their amendment PIK. There's something called PIK, P-I-K, payment in kind. And it's a way that they can kind of roll forward the money that they're going to get from their from the loans they make. And a lot of times they do it at origination to kind of, I guess, right, if anyone knows, backload when the loans are going to be paid back. So I guess a way of saying it is, if, like, from how I understand it, which could be wrong, if you were to take out a mortgage, you would maybe go a few months or a year or two without paying any interest, but that's all going to get tacked on later. So it's like they want to secure the loan, and they actually take equity stakes in some of the companies. They get a direct investment into that. And then obviously they're first lien secured lenders. So usually if the company fails, they'll get first dibs on most of those assets to get the loan paid back. But yeah, so PIK income is payment in kind. And we're looking for that to be rising. I know this could get boring. This just sounds really boring to me. Let me know if this sounds interesting to you. But yeah, so the non-accruals over 3% for 2+ quarters is a big red flag. The payment in kind income rising, or if it's a red flag, because now for Aries it's 15 to 18%, but if it's 20% or more for a couple quarters. And then dividend coverage, obviously, just like a regular stock, if dividend coverage is falling, that's a big red flag. So you got to worry there. If that's falling below 1, right? If they can't cover the dividend for a couple straight quarters and the spillover income is declining, and then again, just a sustained net asset value erosion. Those are some of the big red flags that I'm looking for. But again, doing a little bit of homework there on the BDCs. So yeah, that's I know a lot of jabber jawing at you, but hey, we'll see. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But the thing to remember is that with Main Street Capital, did I do that again? What is with the fireworks? I don't know if that'll show up there. Crazy. But Main Street Capital is the gold standard. If they fall a lot more, it's just time to buy. They have virtually no exposure to software. And Aries, they actually say that their CEO, right, on the last earnings call, Court Schnabel, there it is, the fireworks. What is the deal with that? He said, now I'm all discombobulated myself. Anyway, their software is not like beginning stage SaaS software as a service stuff. It's more structural, integrated into companies, proprietary, something that, somebody isn't going to vibe code overnight and just destroy a company. So yeah, but it's good to be nervous, man. Hey, just like Andy Grove, right? I think it was Andy Grove from Intel. Only the paranoid survive. So it's good to be thinking about starting a position on Main around 52. Yeah, and remember, that's still going to be healthily above their net asset value. You're still paying a premium, which, again, very low exposure to software does Main Street Capital have, and they're internally managed, so they literally are. But yeah, if if the contagion just completely decimates and spreads to Main Street Capital, even though I have a very low cost basis and it's gotten much lower with all the dividend income, I'm going to buy more because it's just that. Eddie, you bought Chicago dogs. My wife and I, my lovely wife and I, went to Tony's Beef on Pulaski and 71st or something. Don't tell the folks at Portillo's, but Dick Portillo, it's been rumored, says one of the best beef sandwiches is Tony's. So for all of that, are you not here? Yeah, Whiskey Tango, what's up, man? The week to buy lots of high quality BDCs, Maine, Hercules Capital, which Kelly Green liked, and Aries Capital. Again, and I didn't look at what Hercules' software exposure is, but good morning, Vietnam. I feel like you set me up there, Billy. Morning for you. You don't want to talk about the weather here in Chicago, Billy? What do they say? That's the worst thing to talk about. Turbo was really tempted to pick up more into it. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, Kevin Burgess was talking about things he owned, and I asked him what his number one stock buy would be. What did he say? He said Intuit, and the thing kept, it was like 3 to 5% every day that it was going up. Vasco, that's a good thought too. It's probably, you're going to have to pay up for the best. And this is why I love you guys sharing this and coming and hanging out, because you're reminding me that why should I expect Main Street Capital when it has very low tech exposure, and it literally is probably the safest BDC that you can buy? Why would that trade at a discount to net asset value? It doesn't make sense. So that may be the best you can hope for. And I know it's been up there for a while. So, yeah, I have 150 shares of it. I haven't added to it in years because I've always said it feels right. It feels too good to sell, but too expensive to buy. So I've just been hanging on to those. Bill, I wish I could do that. Will you? I wish I could add Main Street or something like that to my health savings account, but it's through my work and they get to do that. Yeah, I'll be adding more Visa. I added at 314 and 309. May have gotten too aggressive too quickly, but again, sometimes you just have to pay up a fair price for these great companies. And does anyone know? I wanted to get to this. Steve can't join us, but he expects a lot of downgrades on the news today. I don't know if he's talking about the dividend downgrades or if he's talking about the Iran war, which that's crazy what's going on there. I was reading that. Malden Economics, John Malden, I've gotten his newsletter forever. That's why I was Small World when Kelly Green came into my orbit and she writes Dividend Digest, which I had been reading for quite some time anyway. But 51% of the United States' nitrogen, which is used in fertilizer, comes from, I say Qatar, but I think they say Qatar, right? Comes from Qatar, which has to get out from the Persian Gulf to the Straits of Hormuz. And it's not going to be making it right now, and we're going into the growing season. So that could put a crimping on fertilizer that we use to grow food here on the United States of American soil. Yeah. So what's going to happen? I don't know, but we do know, right, that this too shall pass. There might be some damage, a lot of collateral damage, but this eventually will pass. Nobody knows exactly the way that it's going to, which makes life interesting. Kind of like a video game. If you get the newsletter, I had fun writing that. Brought back some great memories playing Sega Genesis. And I equated it to investing because Kurt Bushnell, the founder of Atari, he understood game theory, that the fundamental aspect of any great game is it has to be simple to learn but difficult to master. So once you got those things, just like investing, right? It's very simple to learn, duh, I got money. I'm going to put the money somewhere. Lots of places you can put it. Anywhere from under your mattress to your checking account to the stock market to ETFs to Bitcoin. There's tons of ways. Tony the loan shark, right? You can put your money with him and make some risky bets. But yeah, it's a fun thing. It's a game, right? I play a new game now. It's called Dividend Growth Investing. What did you pick up, William? The Wonder Woman 1-ounce silver medal this week from the U.S. Mint with my subscription. At $200 is now my most expensive silver, worse than the Silver Eagle on last week. So it's a proof coin then, right? Because I don't even know what the melt value of silver is. I've lost track of that. But hey, it's a collector. But if people needed to melt it, right? I always like to look at the melt value of those. Shannon, what's going on, Shannon? It's good to see you, man. Try to rank groups of companies and determine best in class. That's how I try and invest. Yeah, and obviously you're probably going to pay up more for the best in class because if you want the best, it's usually not cheap, All right, what else we got going on? We'll do news here in a minute, but I'm almost caught up to you guys. Chris, thanks for sharing that. Keeps buying Meta, which is going ex-dividend this week. Walmart and Visa. Yeah, I'm hoping Walmart drops a little bit more. I'll be getting it. Turbo's not worried about the SaaS apocalypse. Worried about the closure of the Strait or Hormuz goes. Yeah, and that's a big one. And what's going to happen? I don't know, but it looks like it could be getting into a mess, right? I didn't, I was reading so many headlines, and I don't know. This week we were supposed to go to the Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade Friday night. That was on Saturday. Friday night in the middle of the night, my daughter's sick. It's just like these things pop up, and she's 17, but not going to be like, well, I know you wanted to go, so have fun at home because we're all going to go without you. Too bad you got sick. So we all didn't go, and but yeah, you made me think of that will pass. This all is going to pass. So it could be like the GPS theory. I don't know, the GPS theory of life or investing, where if you make a wrong turn, it'll reroute you. Eventually you'll reroute back into where you need to go. It just won't be a straight path. So oh, silver's around 80 now. That's right. Yeah. Good point. Huge buying opportunity. Who knows? Oh, what was CCL again? 50 shares of CCL recently reinstated. That's Carnival Cruise Line, right? Hey, I don't know if we're headed into a recession now, or if it's the war is going to tip us in a recession. I don't know. Oh, that's what I read. That Iran said U.S. and Israeli ships can't get in and out of the strait, but they're allowing Asian and neutral companies or countries. Is that correct? I didn't know if that was fake news or not. I was posting on Twitter and it said breaking news, so I can't tell anymore. Hey, Charles, it has been a while. Charles, what's up, man? Where have you been? How's it been going? What have you been buying? That's what we all want to know. Yeah, I love investing in what is hated but still make lots of money. SaaS, other ideas. Oh, what's hated now? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the fertilizer companies, right? Like Nutrien, I think they're one. They might be coming down if they can't get the product that they sell. But that'd be a good question. It's fun to think about. AI can help. Don't take it all. I also pay up for the pro version of Claude, which I enjoy. I like, and it gives me a ton of links. Yeah, that's probably because so many people self-deported themselves, right? So that's why I think it's interesting when everyone's like, look, the unemployment's rising. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a lot of people were self-deporting and leaving. There she is, Lisa. I was out for my walk today, I think, when you were going live, or I saw the notification, which is crazy. Everyone, here's a weather thing that, just like investing, things change quickly. It was, when I went for my walk about 4 o'clock, it was 63 degrees. When I came live at 7 o'clock, it's now 37 degrees. That's crazy in a few hours. What is C? Is that CI? We got to do news too. But what is, what's CI? Let me see. I should always remember that one. I know you've asked about it before. Oh, Cigna Group. Oh, wow. They've dropped a lot. I don't want to do that too much where I'm not showing you guys. Billy, we could look at Cigna Group on the back of my notes. Hope you guys enjoyed some of my disjointed. Actually, you know what that's a good point about is I was telling all the earlier people, I was doing research and jotting down notes on BDCs, particularly Maine and Aries. And I don't know, I may do a video on it about what I'm watching, or here's the red flags to watch for, but I have to have a script when I record. It's non-negotiable. Obviously, this isn't scripted, which is why it's fun. But there's a ton of information on there, and it would just, for brevity's sake, to keep things tight and non-repetitive, and what's the most important things you need to know, just boom, 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 hit them. So, yeah. But anyway, we'll look up Cigna, Billy. Vasco's investing for 2 years with, as an investor for just 2 years with 34 years old. Love the pullback to, quote, recover some years that I'm not invested. That's a really smart way of looking at it. Hey, if you want to get into Nike, ticker NKE, you can recover about a whole 20 years or 15 years or so. Like, that thing's been brutal. So yeah, it is interesting, recovering years. Do you invest in anything? Oh, Tutomi, dude, it's been a minute. I remember your name. We haven't talked. Do you invest in anything in oil ship insurance companies like CB, Chubb, or WRB? Remember WRB? Not directly. Yeah, I do have that share of Berkshire, which I'll be at the annual meeting in. I got a question for you. Is anyone watching that has been to the annual meeting in Omaha? I want to know, do they open up the this is a fun thing. Do they open up the concourse where they have all the Berkshire subsidiaries and wholly owned companies that they set up to peddle their wares? Does that open also on Friday? Because it's funny. I'm bringing my wife because I've never gone. I've never even been I've never set foot, fun fact, in the state of Nebraska. I've been to Tasmania, but I haven't been to Nebraska, and I live in Chicago, weirdly enough. So bringing my wife. She hasn't been to Nebraska either. And yeah, she's more excited about maybe getting a new pair of Brooks running shoes, even though she's not a runner. And just checking out all the setup and the special things they may have. I don't know, but yeah, she's like, the annual meeting, like watching people on a stage talk about Berkshire, she's like, not so much. But yeah, I'll watch it for probably 5 or 10 minutes. And, maybe I'll be happy to breathe the same air that Warren is in the same building. But yeah, I'll be listening to the whole, I'll listen to it once or twice later on a podcast or on YouTube. So, but yeah, anyway, so not that I know directly does Kinsale Capital. I don't know if they are involved in shipping insurance. They're Excess and Surplus, which is the only insurance company I directly own. That's 100% pure play insurance. And they do excess and surplus, so things like fireworks stands and skydiving companies, and really, uh, really unique. And it's almost like if the regular insurers won't cover it, give us a call. You you opening up a Russian roulette business? Hey, we'll cover you for that. It's going to cost a lot of money, but we'll insure that. God, there's a movie idea if anybody's watching. Do you like they have the axe throwing? Hey, y'all, should you go to that new Russian roulette place? No, I'm busy. Thanks. Nike back at its lows. Yeah, and if you don't remember, Tux, I sold. I got out of Nike to invest in my company, which is, hey, I sold 105 shares of Zoetis at 129, which felt too low, and 100 shares of Nike at 63. Wow, it's fallen. And I used that money to invest in my very first private equity bit. So, all right, 30 minutes and 4 more minutes, we'll do news. So if you're watching, sit tight. There's a little bit of news. Let me spin through these. Charles, you bought a bunch of Aries and Vici. Both have been beaten down. Keep buying the regular SCHD, SCHG growth, and SPYM. Is that the SPY momentum one? A goal to make 250 a quarter. Beautiful, man. That's a good goal. D's, we were talking, you missed the Sega too. In the Blossom comment, I shared a link with, I don't remember his name, but I shared a link for, they have little mini Sega Genesis and stuff like that. Super Nintendo Sega Genesis. And that's about the only thing I remember from Biggie. But yeah, they sell those. There's like 500 games on it for $150 or something. But I did buy more Aries Capital, Ray. I heard it drop quite a bit. I've been adding, man. I've been adding because the net asset value is 1994. And again, I did, Lisa, to answer your question, I started off with a whole bunch of going through my, chicken scratch that I scribbled, writing about things I'm looking at with Maine and with Aries and BDCs in general. So yeah, the thought of it was Main Street Capital is just the literal safety net gold standard BDC from what I can tell. And you have to pay a premium for that. And then Aries is 10% below its net asset value. So definitely getting a deal. Cigna Insurance. Yeah, and Berkshire's great, William. I mean, I'd like to add more. My cost basis is one share at 474. If it goes below that, I might add another one or two. BTCI, any thoughts on crypto? No idea, Terrence. If Bitcoin 5 years from now is at 1 million or it was at 0, I would not be surprised, but I guess I would be a little more surprised if it was at 0. And dude, I don't know. We've never experienced it. It's in its infancy compared to gold, something that's been around for a couple millennia. So where's it going to go? I don't know. Bitcoin hasn't really been a major world-class asset through a sustained bear market or tech wreck or something like that. So we'll see, dude. I don't know. Hey, ADP still dropping. Dude, I'll tell you about it. Yeah, it's just I'll tell you in a minute. Let me do news and then I'll tell you whiskey. Yeah, you know what? I guess I can say it. It's been long enough. I bought a mini SNES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and I heard about something called Hackchi, which I used YouTube to show me how to hack into it. And they have these things called game emulators. Dude, I am very non-technical, and I've managed to do this. You download these ROM emulators, I think they're called, which is the game, and then you can download the cover art. Dude, I have like 400 some games I put on this thing myself, all the way from ColecoVision to Atari 2600, Sega Master System, Nintendo Entertainment, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Basically anything that is 16-bit or less, I can put on there. So It's been years that I've had that now, and I don't really play many games other than that. It's all the games I played as a kid. All right, let's yeah, that's what I did. It's awesome. It's awesome. So, well, jailbreak the console. Yeah, and that's the other thing. D's, you could just get the regular one from like Target and then you can jailbreak it. And I had fun doing it. I really did. I felt like a hacker. But how much of a hacker are you when I'm watching step-by-step YouTube videos where they're just goof proofing it? Okay, for you old guys here, now do this. Go to this website and down. Anyway, so let's do some news. That was fun. I still have it. And yeah, let's do some real quick Simply Safe dividend news. Latest. This is what I want to share. All right, so we're going to go. So we left off on the 6th with the BDC downgrades. Here, anybody knew that's what? Nah, we won't. There was a bunch of BDC downgrades. Nothing major, but we'll go quick. This is Simply Safe Dividends. Every week they have news and they put their own unique thoughts on things. But DOC, which is, here we go, Health Peak Properties, is going to separate its senior housing business into a new company called Janus Living. So there you go. There's a whole story on that, but you're just going to have to get what you need. Or if you know what, if you want to go in depth on any of these, all you need to do is give Simply Safe Dividends an email address and you can use their site for 2 weeks. So without paying them any money. General Dynamics lifted its dividend 6%, which is its 29th consecutive. Yeah, defense, maybe defense is overbought right now. We'll see about that. Pembina Pipeline is Canadian, right? They raised, or they didn't. They refreshed their outlook. So Simply Safe Dividends gives their own unique, non-AI written outlook on companies, and they only do it for a couple hundred. And from time to time, they will read through it and make any changes. So when they do that, they call it refreshing the outlook. TELUS, this is one that I didn't like. They paused their dividend growth as their deleveraging needs mount. They need to pay back more debt. They're Canadian telecom company, right? Kind of like almost the Verizon or AT&T or something. I'm not from Canada. I don't know, but I did look at their margins, and I didn't like it. Here we go. Realty Income raised the dividend 0.2%. Don't go spending that all in one place now. It's its 134th increase since 1994. And I did do a 10-year comparison of Realty Income versus S&P 500 VOO, where it underperformed a lot. 20 years it underperforms, but if you go back 30 years, it really, really outperforms quite a bit. Dividend downgrade from Brown-Forman. Hey, we're doing our part to help Diageo out. We bought some Guinness. We also bought Murphy's Irish Stout, which is owned by Heineken. So Brown-Forman, anybody tempted to buy any of these liquor companies that have just $23 now, it's just fallen out of bed. Colgate-Palmolive, 1.9% token raise, if you ask me. Yeah, they raised it a penny per share per quarter. They have not missed a dividend payout since 1895. Beautiful. A couple more. AMAT, Applied Materials, 15% dividend growth. Could be overvalued. Simply Safe gives their own proprietary valuation. 9th consecutive year of growth. And what do you got? 2 more here. Care Trust, CTRE, raised the dividend 16%. Looks overvalued. Weyerhaeuser, paper company, timber REIT, downgraded big time. So soft housing market, not a lot of people. And this is one of the interesting things with commodity companies that I learned is management doesn't control the demand, but it boom and bust, right? So when the housing market slows to a crawl, not a lot of timber is being called for to build the houses and at Home Depot. So yeah, but then when it picks up, man, it goes flying. So that could be a good time to get in, right? If we're at the bottom of a cycle. And then they refreshed their outlook on Pfizer, giving it a borderline safety score of 50. And for you, Billy, let's just see real quick Cigna. I've never done any deep digging into Cigna, but they get a 79 safety score. Dividend yield, we can already tell, is way up. So, the thing, so it's healthcare services. I thought it was insurance. I guess I don't know what Cigna is. I thought it was, health insurance. The interesting thing to look and to maybe ask AI is with insurance companies, I've learned that a lot of them could have exposure to private credit and private equity. So they could be using their float to invest in private equity and things like that. So that would definitely need to be looked at and understood. But wow, yeah, they blew up the dividend right coming out of COVID. Holy smokes. But then it slowed. So that's interesting. 65% 10-year CAGR. I see that 172. And then the latest one, 3.3. So something's going on there. Yeah, big dividend raises and then a small one. But it looks like it could be undervalued. You guys know it could be a good time to buy when the dividend yield is way above the 5-year and the forward PE is below. Let's see, free cash flow payout ratio, but it's a insurer. Yeah, so you look at earnings instead, very low, very healthy. So something's going on. And I don't know if anybody watching knows exactly why this has been beaten down, because margins, let's see if they're compressing. I mean, everything looks good. They're still buying back shares. Sales are still going up every quarter. That's very good. Yeah, I mean, margins are holding, return on equity is, I don't know, roller coastery up and down. But yeah, margins are still growing. Free cash flow has been dropping, the same as operating margin, but debt a little bit high, but nothing crazy. Yeah, they don't look too bad, but there's a reason. And last thing before I come back to you guys, let's look at Seeking Alpha just to see what. So where it's, I'm going too fast, and where it says a massive shift, I didn't see that F. So it's a massive shit in the Fed's rate outlook, maybe about to hit markets. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? But alas, there is an F there. And when you're reading this quick, the Cigna group, let's just see what it gives. So the quant right there gives it a hold. And let's see what your analysts say. You got to buy, a hold, a bunch of buys. And it doesn't get a lot of coverage because you see the same names. This Narek Hovhannisyan was in November. He gave it a buy. And then again, he hit it with a buy last week, March 10th. So, here you go. Drops on leadership transition. I guess that's why. But anyway, sign up for Seeking Alpha and you can read all about it. Get yourself, or ask ChatGPT. I don't know. All right, here we go. I'm back to you guys. And yeah, I love it. We were talking emulators. I'm so proud of myself that I actually did that. I still have it, my mini SNES. And if it broke, I guess I'd have to learn to do it again. But as an old school guy, when I see some of these new games where the learning curve is way up here, I don't have time for that. I probably play that thing maybe an hour every couple months. It's really not a lot, but I love it that I can play almost any game from 1982 until 20, almost the year 2000. So it's fun, but his first emulator has become the emulator talk. Brought home on a floppy disk. Nice. It's all the script, kitty. No way, Lisa, you had ColecoVision? That's right. I don't want to give a woman's age, but yeah, if you know ColecoVision, tell me you're my age without telling me your age. I think I said that right. But yeah, ColecoVision. I had that. I even had the controller that had the keypad on it, and I never used that. Yeah, ColecoVision was my that was, I had it around like 84. 84 and 85. And then I think in 86, I got Sega Master System. Geez, started positions in BN and BX. Is anyone else? Yeah, let us know. There he is. What's up, Darth? Thanks for popping on, man. Look at this. I do my news. I get back. I got Darth. I got Ryan. Yeah, we were just talking emulators. Jay, Moody's is his buy this week. Berkshire owns Moody's. By the way, I did see that Berkshire is buying back their own stock. So is it undervalued? Potentially. Potentially a good time if you want to follow management. Deez, I love you and your massive shift. About to work 8 in a row tomorrow. Oh my God. Darth. Yeah, we haven't caught up in a minute, man. That's crazy. I did a lot of work in this week too. You know, it was nuts. I recorded with Kelly, and right before I went live with her, there was an emergency. My work's like, we need you to go. I'm like, I can't go anywhere for an hour. I got a meeting. So yeah, I recorded with her, hung up. I worked late Friday. Anyway, you don't need to know all that. But, and I did have Intellivision too. I had ColecoVision, Intellivision. So on Coleco, I had Popeye. That was a fun game. And I also had a game called Zaxxon. Any of you old school gamers remember Zaxxon with the little plane? I go way back, man. I know. I might not look it, but hey, I was there in 1983 and 84 playing ColecoVision and Intellivision and all those. And Eddie, I do remember Pong. My uncle had Pong, and I thought it was the most boring thing in the world. It was a big yellow plastic box with the 2 dial controllers on it. And yeah. What are you buying this week, Ryan? Are you finally going to buy Rollins? Let us know. It's what inquiring minds want to know. It's on the watch list still. Journeyman, what's going on, man? We go back a long ways to X, and Ryan, I kind of followed you. I saw in your newsletter that you said you're starting to try and get back on the X, and I thought I should too. I mean, I miss a lot of you guys, but again, I don't know how you do it, Ryan. Well, I guess I do. You don't. It's part of your thing. For me, Deez, you're old. You're old. You played Zaxxon in the arcade, and kudos to putting the double X's too. So I wanted to see if anyone would get that. Oh, and Qbert. I played Qbert on Intellivision. I thought it was hard. I kept falling off the back. This is crazy, right? Oh, I was wondering why it's so dark over here. I'm like, I'm talking to you guys. I was like, something doesn't look right. Watch this. I don't know if it lit. There we go. It's a little more. That's called a key light, everybody. It's a key light. My key light was off. Yeah, I kept seeing the key. I'm like, why the hell's so dark here? Too soon for Rollins. Probably add more Visa and Zoetis. You still adding Blue Owl, Ryan? Or what are you doing with that? Because OBDC2, right? That was supposed to merge with OBDC, and people wanted their money. But yeah, Visa. I'm looking at Visa. Zoetis. I want to start buying it again, but now I'm probably overthinking it because it just keeps falling, man. It just keeps falling and falling. And I think it's been 30 days. I also have to watch because I sold Nike and Whiskey, if you're still there. Yeah, I sold Nike and Zoetis, took the loss on them. So I have to wait 30 days to buy them again, because I can use that to tax loss harvest, meaning I can offset capital gains with those losses. But Whiskey, if you're still watching, what happened was the company I work for was acquired by a venture capital firm. And what they like to do, their whole mission is to buy, build, and sell. And we had an opportunity that my boss, who sold to them, wanted to make sure that any of us were able to put money in if we wanted to. And it's completely illiquid. There was a whole LLC agreement I had to read, and then a subscription agreement. And it literally says, like, this money if there's an emergency or something, you can't get it back. So, uh, but I figured they want to sell within 3 to 5 years, kind of in that window, with 5 years being like the really long end. And they are looking for a five-ish return. That's kind of their target. And yeah, sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher, but I could potentially, yeah, and yeah, I put 20K in. Okay. You can do the math when I just said what I sold at the prices, but yeah, and we invested 20K. It's going to be locked up for 3 to 5 years, but it could hopefully 5X. My expectations, I'm keeping it at a 2X, and anything more will be icing on the cake. And that's what I did. So I figured, what business do I know more than the one that I've been in the industry for 27 years almost? I've been with this company for 5 years, but the people I work with, we all came from a competitor company to start this one. And I think we took the best people. And yeah, it's just, we're growing, we're acquiring other companies. And I don't know if that's insider. I don't know how that all works, but it doesn't matter. It's not publicly traded. So they're looking at acquiring a business in Milwaukee area and one in Southern Indiana to grow the money coming in. So that's what they're doing. They're building, right? They already bought us. They're building us. They're going to make the company bigger, more profitable on paper, and then sell us to a bigger entity and then move on to the next one. So they get a lot of institutional investors and private funds and college endowments, from what they told me, investing with them. So that is that's what I did with that. Because it's private equity, I've never done this before, and obviously there was like in the LLC agreement and then our subscription agreement, it was very clear. This is highly risky. It's illiquid. You could lose all your money. There could be like every worst, kind of like if any of you read a 10K, there could be they all the worst case scenarios. I even paid a lawyer we paid him $800 to read through the subscription and the LLC agreement after I did, just to get another set of eyes on it. And I figured that was like insurance, just a specialty lawyer that deals with those type of things. So, and then also my brother-in-law and one of my friends that I work with is investing too. Dude, they weren't even going to read anything. So I was like, all right, I'll bite the bullet and I'll tell them what I found out. And, it's a good thing to do. So that's that's what I wonder if I still have. I think I deleted it, William. Yeah, you guys got to see. It was what I shared with Kelly. Let's see if I deleted it. Let's see. This is probably too much here, but let's see. Image file. I think I deleted it. Yeah. I used it in the video with Kelly. My boots on the ground in Portillo's in Florida, which was good. I was not. I asked and I was not. So the only thing they said I could ask questions. They said that, yeah, the company's still, because it's newly acquired and buying that we're not profitable right now. So they even said we're going to get a K1, which was very interesting. And I wanted to make sure I understood that, but they can give money to cover any taxes that might be owed on the K1, but that is not potentially going to be for a year or two. So I would have liked to look at the financials, but this is the lesson. If any of you don't know, this is the thing with private equity. They don't have to do a damn thing. Literally, they can say, no, we're not showing you anything. The only thing you have is our word. Give us our money or don't. That's it, man. It's completely a whole different animal. And that's why my wife and I said, okay, we'll put 20K. It's a little bit less than 2% of our net worth. Although with the market, if it keeps falling, pretty soon it'll be a little over 2%. But I'm being funny. But yeah, it's money we can lose. It would suck if we lost it. But thinking of Jeff Bezos's regret minimization framework, I kind of thought of that, where he would say, a lot of people's regrets are in the things that they didn't do more so than the things that they did do. Obviously, people probably regret, like, I don't know, murder or grand theft, larceny or something. But for most people, they regret the things that they didn't do. And his hack was he would think forward to when he was 80 years old, and whatever the opportunity that was in front of him, he would imagine himself as that 80-year-old and say, would I regret not doing this thing, this opportunity in front of me to see what happens? And if the answer was yes, that was it. He would do it. So for me, it was a yes. I said, I may lose the money. It may 5 or 6x in a couple years. I don't know, but I kind of want to know and see what happens. So that's what we did. So cheers, Jeff Bezos. All right. Well, nothing ahead to the private equity and stuff, but or if anyone has any questions, I don't know if that's interesting to you. I learned a lot, and it was a little hard. I mean, I spent a good week and a half on it, and oh my God, talk about dense and just, but hey, it's funny. So I submitted like 8 questions to my CFO. And it's funny because I'm like one of the techs, right? I'm a welder, I'm a tech. And he was like, he called me into his office, and with my boss and the CFO, we had like a meeting, and we were going over stuff, and I'm literally talking to them about things that I found in the LLC agreement or in the subscription agreement, and said like, now the schedule K1, I was like, how is that going to work? Are we going to be issued that? And like, are they going to pass through? Anyway, he said like, the CFO, he's like, man, he says, I learned a bunch from your questions, because then we submitted it to North Branch, the company, the firm that bought us, for their CFO to look at. So I gave questions to my CFO. He submitted it to the parent of us, their CFO. He got back, and my CFO was like, yeah, he said, man, that's he said, I learned quite a bit from your questions, and some things I didn't even think to ask, which for me, that was like, it's like a pat on the back. But no, I was legitimately wanting to know these things before I put my money in. And I told him, dude, I'm trying to do my due diligence and gain as much knowledge as I can. And as I said to him, and I'll say to you, before you get excited about any investment, you should always try to figure out the worst case scenario. What is the worst possible thing you think could happen? Obviously, it's losing. That was it. Not just your money going to zero, but I wanted to know, is there any scenario where I could owe more than the 20K that I'm putting in, or could, for instance, if for whatever crazy reason, a lawsuit should pop up with, say, the company that buys us or some other entity, can they come after me individually for like my house and other things? And the answer on that was no. And they showed me where, but yeah, that's, Bose, don't worry, man. I give you a crisp salute. Yeah. We were talking video games and emulators, and I love it. Lisa played in television, or Coleco. Yeah. Love to try Portillo's. Don't have them here. Where are you, Turbo? I mean, you don't have to tell me the street you live on, but they're expanding. I mean, unless you're in like, I don't know, Utah or something. Yeah, what a beautiful feeling when you feel comfortable with all your dividend stocks and don't have any problem seeing them drop. I don't have stomach for growth stocks. Again, Vasco, from what I've learned, it's all about knowing what you own. Ryan would say the same exact thing, that if your reason, which is why you have to, right? They say you have to have your own conviction. If your reason for investing in something like Ryan's with Zoetis has not changed, if the fundamentals are still acceptable to you and why you invested, then it's pretty easy. You just buy more, because it's like, right? And that's the joke. Like something like Nike. Boy, if you like Nike at 74, you're really going to like it at 53. Yeah, Schedule K1s. The tax software now makes it not that bad. But again, I've never gotten a K1 from a private equity firm. So we'll see. I'll let you know how it goes. Yeah, Walmart, Coca-Cola, two of the buy what you know stocks. I was real comfortable after the Liberation Day tariff thing too, and actually the one that I was most uncomfortable with was Nike because I thought, "Oh man, this really could real throw a real serious wrench into their business, how it operates." So the one that I had the most worry from was Nike, and one of the least was Harrow, ticker HROW, my ophthalmologic company, because most of what they make, yeah, most of their pharmaceuticals are made here in the United States and consumed in the United States. Like they're trying to grow bigger, but as of right now, it was Utah's pretty close. Yeah, man. I don't know if you can buy it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just better to go there. So no, they're expanding, and that's been the knock on them. They're trying to grow, but maybe someday. I don't know what would be close up by you. I don't know. Liberation Day opened Vasco's eyes, and he don't have money ready at that moment. Now I'm always got something to invest in a hurry. I feel like Kramer. Any of you Seinfeld fans remember the bet, was it called? I don't remember the episode name, but the one where immediately Kramer walks in and slams his money on the table. I'm out. Like that's usually me. The first day of a drop, it's like, oh, my dry powder's gone. I'm like, I'm out. No more dry powder. Yeah, I'll probably do that, William. I mean, it isn't, it's not. If I can relate it to investing, I would, because there's a storyteller named Matthew Dix, and he's a book I'm rereading where he teaches us to tell better stories and how to be a storyteller. 2 times he has been brought back to life on the side of a road after an accident where his heart stopped and paramedics brought him back to life. But in one of his stories, it's cool, but how many of us have had our heart stop beating and paramedics brought us back to life? I'd love to know if any of you have, because most people haven't. So you really can't connect with that. But the way that it goes is that, without getting into too much detail, at the hospital, the people that came to see him, he realized were his true friends, and other people, even family members, didn't even make the effort to come see him. So he realized kind of who his true family was, which was the part of the story we can all connect to. Who are those people that really show up for us in our time of need, and who don't? It just tells a whole lot. So it's funny because the whole accident part and I died on the side of the road was just a waypoint in the story to get to the end, the 5-second realization, like the meaning of the story. So I kind of think of it like that with private equity, where you say most people will never experience it. So it's cool, but I need to find a way that it relates to everybody when they make investments. And just off the top of my head, I could see it as really doing your own due diligence. And I guess I told you, trying to figure out the worst case scenario and the worst possible things that could happen before you put your money in and you get real excited. So it's just having a deeper understanding of what you're investing in. And I guess that would probably be the holy crap. I'm like, why is Shannon saying good night, dude? I'm like, look at you guys. You're already, when are the Oscars on and they start giving the announce or the award speeches, and they play them off. They just go too long. I'm like, why are they saying good night? And Ryan's saying great episode. Like, thank you. I'm like, they're playing me off. They're like the vaudevillian performers with the big hook. They wouldn't get off the stage. They pulled them. So Vasco, I'll give the last one to you. Oh, Deez, that's beautiful. I think I'll wait a little bit to go heavy in financials and industrials, but Vasco, when there's mass pessimism, mass uncertainty, and mass doubt, I guess I could have just said fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that could be the best time to buy. So I wouldn't say wait too long, but yeah, but it's hard to say, man, because where there's smoke, there could be fire. You don't want to get burned. And yeah, Ryan was thought a Seinfeld episode. Yeah, the contest. Now I hope all of you will think of that if you do the same thing. It's like the first day of the dip, it's like, bam, I'm out. That's it. So yeah, and we'll end it with that, D. So we'll give myself the hook. This goes by way too fast. So thanks everybody for swinging on by the channel, and I'd love to do it again with you. So I hope you come by, and I thank you for spending a little bit of your precious time with me. So until the next one, so long, everybody.